Will I make it through this frozen tundra or become a popsicle with trekking poles? Let's find out. Welcome to my Polar Vortex hiking challenge. Let's go. So here's the plan. I'm headed out into these absolutely brutal conditions to see just how far I can push myself and my gear in the middle of a polar vortex. Currently, I don't even want to get out of the car. Right now, it's minus 10 degrees outside, but with the wind chill, it's closer to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got my layers, I've got my hand warmers, and enough snacks to keep my motivation going. I think. All right, let's talk preparation because attempting a hike in minus 20-degree wind chills isn't exactly something you do without a plan. So step one is layers, layers, and more layers. I basically wrapped myself like a human burrito. First up, a full wool, moisture wicking base layer to keep sweat from freezing me solid. I opted for the rose base layer combo by Colorado since it's my favorite. Then I've got an insulated mid layer. This Nerona puffy is my MVP. And of course, my outer shell to block the wind. This one's also by Nerona because minus 30 wind chills? No, thank you. I've linked all of these below if you want to check them out. Okay, got some layers on. I wanted to do it before I got out of the car. We'll see if I actually need a beanie also, but it's still kind of sunny, so I wanted to wear this to protect my face. Next, for my skin, I'm going to put this on. This is Dermatone Skin Protector Balm with an SPF 23. That way the wind won't burn my cheeks, which always happens to me. Okay. Definitely gonna need these today. I'm trying to hike as fast as I can to get my body heat going, to get the blood pumping, because it is really, really cold. So fun fact, it's better to breathe through your nose in cold weather because your nostrils and all those nose hairs warm the air before it hits your lungs, which minimizes that annoying cough that happens when you're freezing. But if you're like me and it's easier to mouth breathe when you're exercising, I definitely recommend covering your mouth like I am here with the gator because that way it warms the air a little bit so it's a little bit more comfortable when it hits your lungs. So now that I got some body heat going, I'm starting off nice and slow because the trick really isn't speed. You want to make sure you're going nice and easy so that you don't start sweating. Because if you sweat through all your base layers, they're going to get wet. And if they get wet, you guessed it, you get cold. And yeah, frozen clothes, less than ideal. So I was about to come on and be all excited, like, hey, I don't need Microspikes at all because it's all snow and not ice, so it's really sticky and grabby. But then I just almost ate coming down that hill. So no, I'm not wearing Microspikes, but yes, I probably should be. Don't listen to me sometimes. So I just hit 1 mile of the hike. And honestly, I'm getting a little warm. I haven't had to put on my shell yet. And I haven't had to put on my beanie yet either. I am really toasty in what I have on right now. In my hands, and these massive mittens are actually kind of sweating. So we're going to see what happens if I keep going. Okay, so I'm definitely warmed up now. I'm about 1.5 miles in, but I really, really have to pee. And even though I'm feeling warm now, the last thing I want to do is pull my butt out in negative 20-degree temps. My butt would rather be inside my nice, warm Kari Draw base layers. So I think I'm just going to hold it for right now. So water is another fun challenge, another fun game in this weather. Kind of like, will it freeze or will it won't freeze? Normally, I like to hike with a bladder, a camelback, a tube and all that. But in the winter, even the insulated tubes freeze. So when it's this cold, I always go with a water bottle. I wrapped it in my beanie in my backpack this time. And usually, still liquid, usually water freezes from the top down. So if you're hiking in cold weather like this, here is a trick. Store it in your backpack, upside down. Definitely make sure you seal the lid. But that way, if it freezes, it'll start to freeze from the bottom of the bottle. So when you pull it out to drink it, you'll still have liquid at the top. In retrospect, bringing dried mango probably wasn't my best snack choice ever because it's kind of hard to chew on the best of occasions. But right now, minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit, it's hard as a rock. Still hard. I'm sucking on it, and that's warming it up. And I've got the other piece in my pocket. So I made a little bit of dryer lint, but I think I'll get to my mango eventually. I made it to the top, which right now is honestly a bit anticlimactic. So I made it to the top. I'm here. But right now, it just looks like a sea of white because polar vortex round number 2 is rolling in with more snow. So there's like a massive 13,000 foot mountain right there. And I can't see a darn thing. It's just a big old sea of white. But that's okay. It's still pretty. And I did it. But now the real challenge begins. Getting back to the car before I turn into an actual snow woman. Wish me luck. Oh, got another microspike area. Steep hill. I don't have microspikes. So I figured my options are I can go really, really slow and carefully, or I can just bomb down it and hope for the best. I'm going for option 2. Here we go. So, what did I learn? 1, never estimate the power of good gear. 2, snacks are life, even when they're frozen. And 3, sometimes the weirdest, toughest hikes come with the best stories. I also learned that a couple pieces of real MVP gear can go a long ways. So in no particular order, I've got to give a shout out to these mittens. These are the Gordini, I think, Extreme Polar Mitts. They were so warm. Like actually in normal conditions, they might be too warm, but for this, they were fantastic. This Nerona Puffy, it's really ultralight, really packable, so I wasn't sure how much warmth it would have, but it did really, really well. Didn't even need my shell. My Caritra Rose base layers that I showed you earlier, these pink ones, these things are so cozy, but they did a great job of wicking away sweat. And finally, this Care Bear hat. It did next to nothing useful, but it's really darn cute. So thanks for coming along on this frozen adventure. I'd love to hear if you've done something this ridiculous, so tell me about it in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more outdoor shenanigans. See you later. Oh, gross. Just blew a snot bubble. That was fun.